Voice of democracy is still searching. What happened to Mogi? Voice of democracy is still searching. What happened to him? Voice of democracy is still searching. What happened to Mogi? Voice of democracy is still searching. What happened to him? Magambe Morgan.
Ndoko yasimuka yakatangira kumalawi takaiona pa Zambia ndaona yawambuka Zambezi mepoya zandoko yasimuka yakatangira kumalawi takaiona pa Zambia ndaona yawambuka ngapinde
Maswera sei muri yeZimbabwe, tinokuchingamidzai, tinokutambirai, tinokugamuchirai muchirongwa chedu cheweekly news review, icho chirongwa chatinotarisa matopics anga ari muchange radio news muvhiki rapera. Ndinoitwa Sophia Tekwani and ndichange ndina Mambososhe tichitaura tese pane nyaya dzanga dzichiitika dzichiburwa dzichipakurwa neChange Radio. A very warm welcome and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our viewers wherever you may be in the world. My name is Sophia Tekwani and I will be with Mambososhe in this week's edition of our weekly news review, the program where we take a look at the topics that made the headlines in Change Radio News over the past week. Without much, let me hand over to Mambososhe to greet the viewers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are, Zimbabweans. Thank you so much for joining. Please share this video so that as many people as possible can follow us and can be able to hear what we are discussing here. I think we have some of our viewers and listeners already logging in. Nicholas Musiwa, thank you so much for joining. Chokera Mavuta, Anzinga Pinde Hakem Komana, we appreciate you. Back to you, Sophia. Do people really know who this person, Sophia, is? Those who listen to Change Radio News, you need to be aware of this voice. She reads Change Radio News in English, Change Radio News in Shona, and I'm sure very soon she'll be reading Change Radio News in Ndebele, right?
Thank you so much, Chief. Indeed, Chief is very right. I am part of the team. We are a team that brings the news, the Change Radio News in Shona and Ndebele. And very soon, watch this space. Like Chief says, I will be reading in Ndebele as well, and maybe Xitsonga as well, we don't know. But we won't take much of your time. Today we've got a wide array of topics that we'll be talking about. I'll just give whet your appetite a little bit. We'll be talking about the CCC calling for electoral reforms. We will be talking about the political violence intensifying and on the rise. We'll be talking about the Plumtree thank you rally that President Nelson Chamisa was at. And we'll be talking as well about the corruption and the rot in Zanu PF, with the Empowerment Bank only benefiting Zanu PF youths, among other topics. So stay with us, stay tuned on Change Radio, stay tuned on our platforms on Facebook, on Twitter and YouTube, and interact with us, share with as many people as you can, and also send us your comments, because we want to be talking to you as we're going along, and we want to hear your opinions as well. They matter. Okay, so Chief, the very first one maybe that we should be talking about is the thank you rally. I know there's a speech by the president that is going to be flighted later on, but can you just take us through the idea of the thank you rally and what happened in Plumtree over this weekend?
Well, I think we also have some videos that will show exactly what was going on in Bulilima, in Plumtree, how happy people were to receive the chief champion, President Advocate Nelson Chamisa. We had other leaders that accompanied him. Obviously, Honorable Chibaya was part of the team. Our Vice President Welshman Nuve, our interim vice president. I'm gonna be fired from the party. Interim vice president, Honorable Lynette Karenyi Kore, was there, and she did give a great speech. But what this was about, it was a thank you rally. President Chamisa was going to appreciate. He had gone there to appreciate what Bulilima did. They turned around. Bulilima turned around 2 wards that were previously Zanu PF, and we Bulilimaed Zanu PF in those by-elections. We only lost 1, and it was only in order that the president goes there to thank the people, for what they did, and that's what we do in CCC. We appreciate, we are grateful even for what some people would call, small things. We are grateful, and we thank the people for those seemingly small things, because it is from these small things that you build to get bigger things, to achieve bigger things. And I was just impressed by the way the people turned out. The rally was well attended, and this is a place which was previously considered a Zanu PF stronghold, and it just showed that the people in Matabeleland are ready to vote Advocate Nelson Chamisa. They are ready to support their party, the part of their choice, CCC. If you can just play one of the audios that we have, or videos that we have, where the Vice President, interim Vice President Lynette Karenyi Kore was addressing people.
Ganchile mlombe ganchile. Ganchile mtanga ganchile. Salibonani. Linjani. Ndoda kukutenda imose pamsoroi. President wangu baba Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Regai nditende Bulilima. Ku Ward 1, Ward 14 and Ward 16. Ndokupaisa ndo dzenyu munogona makarowa Zanu PF kuseri nekuseri. Zvamakaita makangovaudza kuti Bulilima is not a Zanu PF territory. This is a territory for Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Mavarakidza kuti 2023 muri kuenda kunoregister muchivhota neuwandu. Ndoda kukutendai makasarudza pakati pavo ndakaona pana mai. Thank you very much mama. Makorokoto vapleka history of Zimbabwe. Chiregai ndingokupaiwo zvishoma. Ndanzwa kuti kuno tine dambudziko remvura. Kuno tine dambudziko rezvikoro chairo. Chiregai ndikupei kuti mukomana auya kuzokugadzirirai hwaro. Imi chamunofanira kuita, endai munoregister baba, mai, mwana, sekuru nehama dzose. Kana vanhu vakapinda muvoters row, zvoreva kuti mukomana apinda paState House. Kupinda kwaAdvocate Nelson Chamisa takuwana zvikoro. Kupinda kwaAdvocate Nelson Chamisa takuwana madhibha aine mishonga. Kupinda kwaAdvocate Nelson Chamisa takuwana masekendari kwete imwe chete. Tinenge takuona dzakawanda. Mwari wokudenga akuitei zvakanaka.
Yes, the interim vice president there, Lynette Karenyi Kore, articulating it very well. Kuti kupinda kwemukomana, it means kuti mushonga kumadhibi. Kupinda kwemukomana means zvikoro zviri kuvakwa. Kupinda kwemukomana means mine mishonga muma-hospitals, muma-clinics. Chief, what do you make of the interim vice president's address in Bulilima? where Zanu PF was bulili mad. You were quite correct in saying that they were bulili mad.
Yeah, I mean, she was on point as always, and she just articulated what the government of President Chamisa is going to do. You know, simple things like making sure that you know the deep tanks were working in the rural areas. These are key concerns, you know, to people, you know, everywhere in Zimbabwe. That schools, we're gonna get better schools. We're gonna have hospitals that will be having medication, hospitals that will be manned by qualified nurses. Doctors will no longer be leaving the country because when President Chamisa comes in, he's going to make sure that doctors are paid what they deserve, in line with what other doctors in Southern Africa and in the world are being paid. Teachers are going to get paid in US dollars. Roads will be made, will not be driving in potholes or, you know, in pit holes, as we are seeing as what is happening in Zimbabwe right now. Things are going to change. So if you vote for President Chamisa, that's what our VP was saying, you're voting for prosperity. Ukavhotera vachamisa, wavhotera rugare. Ukavhotera Emerson Mnangagwa, wavhotera nhamo. Ukavhotera President Chamisa, wavhotera zvikoro, wavhotera zvipatara zvinoshanda, wavhotera migwagwa ichagadzirwa yakanaka. Asi ukavhoterawo Emerson Mnangagwa, ukuramba uchivhotera kutambura kwatiri kuita, ukuramba uchivhotera looting iri kuita, ukuramba uchivhotera corruption iri kuitika. Saka zviri kwamuri, zviri kwatiri isu vanhu, asi rali yekubulilima yakaudza vanhu, even ivo President Chamisa vakataura zvimwe chete izvozvo, kuti a better world is coming, a better Zimbabwe is coming. What we just need to do is to make sure that everyone registers to vote. Everyone who is eligible to vote is registered to vote. President Chamisa repeated the same message when he addressed people in Bulawayo. It was just the interim leaders that were gathered at McDonald Hall in Bulawayo. I think, Leo, you also have something there where President Chamisa you know, was singing, you know, that song of unity, you know, you know, telling the people in Matebeleland to be united. But of course, he was telling everyone, he was telling all Zimbabweans that let's come together, let's be united, let's not be fighting each other, let's fight Zanu PF. Zanu PF is the enemy. You know, none in the citizens can be an enemy. You know, let's all gather around, let's all come together and fight against the government or the people that have caused so much suffering to Zimbabweans. And there's no one else than Zanu PF. So let's come together. If you can play that song, I just loved it when President Chamisa, you know, started, you know, singing that song.
Wow. The president there actually coming in and encouraging unity of purpose, unity in the work that is ahead of us, in uprooting and removing this illegal and corrupt regime. And that was the interim leadership, like what you rightly pointed out, Mambo Soshe there, coming together and meeting with the president and showing a show of unity, like you rightfully said. Okay.
Yes, you know, you want to just keep playing that clip. You know, I've watched it so many times. I've watched it 3 times. I watched it on Twitter. The president himself posted it on his Twitter page. And I mean, it is a strong message. That message resonates with the people of Matabeleland. It resonates with the people of Bulawayo. And it's speaking to what we need to be doing right now. You know, I must say, Sophie, you know, a transition is always difficult. We are transitioning from the old party to the new party. And a lot of people don't understand what, you know, what goes into. No one has to be blamed for not understanding. President Chamisa and even the later Dr. Richard Morgan Trangirai, vaigara vachitaura hanzi tsumuya inonzi hanzi vana vembwa havasvinuri musi mumwe chete. Yes, so there are people that will not catch up quickly, that will not be seeing what the leadership is seeing, because that's why we call it visionary leadership. You know, right now as we are speaking, President Chamisa is our visionary. He is, you know, the person who has the vision. Vision means seeing what other people are not seeing. Kuita muono wetwiza, wewe unaona zvino zviri kumberi uko zvisiri kuonekwa nevamwe panapa zvatisiri kuonekwa nemumwe munhu asina kunyatsonzvera focus kana kuti vision yacho kuti iri kuenda nekupi. Ivo President Chamisa obvious vakagara pasi nevamwe vanovapanga mazano nevamwewo vatungamiri vari mumusangano vakaona kuti tikadai tinosvika, tikadai tinozonzwai neZanu PF. You know Zanu PF, you know, they are always waiting in to strike wherever they see a hole, and that's what President Chamisa has been trying to guard against, making sure that they're not infiltrated. We're going to talk about that later on as well, but making sure that the party remains intact as we go towards 2023, and that comes with changes, and changes are going to come. And people have to accept that, but some people, you know, will catch on, you know, slowly. Let's be patient with everyone. Let's find time to teach each other. You know, Zanu PF kare yanga ine slogan yekuti vasingazive vanobva vati ngavadzidziswe. You know, that's how people learn. You know, people need to be taught. People need to be explained what is going on, and I've seen many videos of Farage Nova, one of our directors, I mean, a director of organizing. Leo, if you can find that video where, you know, Director Farage Nova has been going around the country, teaching people, telling people what is CCC, what does it stand for, what are we trying to achieve, you know, making comparisons between MDC and CCC. That MDC was founded by students, by civil society, by labor, and you know, the way he was now explaining it now was, okay, the labor was involved, the students were involved, and the students will be saying, this is our movement, we started it. You know, what about other people? What about Sekuru vari kwachienda mbuya kana mbuya vari kuhwedza kana mbuya vari kokoko, and ordinary Zimbabwean? You know, in a way they were excluded. So now with CCC, we are saying this is a citizen movement. Everyone is involved. Everyone is part of it. Whether you are labor, you are student, you are a vendor, you are in the diaspora, you are musha, you are kumaprazi, everyone, because a citizen is found everywhere in the country. A citizen is a citizen. You know, that's your qualification. That's what you only need. So there's no one who can claim ownership to this organization except the citizens. So, you know, that's what we need to be teaching each other and telling each other. I don't know, Leo, if you managed to find that video, because I know we published it on Change Radio, where Director Farage Nova was teaching in the rural areas. And he has done a good job because he has been moving around the length and breadth of the country, just teaching people. When I saw him doing that, I told him, Farai, I need you to come and do this to North America. You need to we need to organize something so that you just come and explain the same way that we're explaining in Chimanimani, the same way that we're explaining in Mutoko, so that even the people in the diaspora understand what CCC stands for and where the new movement is going. And they also explain the vision of our founding father. Because now our founding father is now President Chamisa, because we found this is a new movement. So he has a vision that is shared with everyone else. And that's how organizations grow. Organizations start with a vision. A vision is then shared by other people that take on that vision. And all of us here, we've joined and we've decided to be part of that vision. Leo, did you find that?
The video of Director Farajinova just educating. But indeed, you're quite right. While he's looking for that video, it's something that needs to be taken maybe beyond the borders, because even the diasporans are also citizens. And they also require that education of where we are, what the vision is, and where we are all going, so that we are all on the same boat. And this is one of the jobs, I can call it, of Change Radio, is to also amplify and increase this call and to broadcast this education, so that our listeners and all those beyond can also be on the same level, or the level that is required for us to take our nation forward. I don't know, Leader Tari, has that video been found yet? If it has not yet been found, we can go on to the next topic.
So go and village boy in person. Go and take your positions now. Go to a polling station point president can watch choose what Garapasi. Auya chero ndikanonoka uchinzi kwai wanga uri mdara mulambo ndiwe mamuri ku national executive mukawana agara so take your seat now. Don't warning and go and take your seat. Yeah. Ini ndikauya ndikagara ndikainoita standing passenger, bhazi rikamuka richienda kuState House. Parinonopinda muState House ini standing passenger ndoburukira kuti muState House napinda neakanga agara kure. Saka hapana ari kubenefita more than the other. Chikuru kusvika. Munhu wese anofanirwa kudi kusvika. Don't be very critical. Munhu wese ngaasvike. Kwatofanirwa kudi kusvika.
Wow.
Yeah, the volume was low, right?
The volume was low, but I think vateereri vedu vanzwa. Kana vanga vasina kunzwa, take out message ipapo was kuti kana munhu tikakwira bhazi tiri tese, mambosvosve mogara, ini ndomira, ngandimire panzvimbo ipapo, oka pamagara garai panzvimbo ipapo, wanikwai muri panzvimbo, because patichasvika kuState House tanzi tasvika padestination, tichaburuka padestination yedu. Chikuru ndechekuti tese taungana tamira panzvimbo kusvika tasvika taburuka patinofanirwa kuburukira.
Yes.
Ndizvoka?
Yes, and there's another video again. Maybe Leo, you can play it later on. We will move on, where he was explaining what CCC is, what it stands for. I loved that part because he was explaining something that has never been explained before in Shona, in simple language, and he was addressing it another place again. But we'll move on, Sophie, and then Leo, if you are ready, you can play that song at a break, when we take a break or something like that.
Wonderful. But I mean, whilst all this is going on, the education is going on and the thank you rallies are going on, the sad reality and the sad face of Zanu PF intensifying on political violence and political violence on the rise. I don't know, before we talk a little bit about this topic, there's a video of an abduction going on in Harare. I don't know, Leader Tarisai, can you just show us a few seconds of that video? And then we can talk about a statement that was issued and just a few comments on the intensifying of the political violence in Zimbabwe. Maybe video inenge iri kurembidzana, but whilst that is being fished out, interim VP Tendai Biti calling on the stop to political violence, and also adding his comments, his 2 cents on the increasing in the number of cases of political violence. But to top it up, there was a press release from the Platform for Concerned Citizens. If you remember, this is a group that had the petition that was calling for the release of the Nyatsime 17 and an end to political violence in Zimbabwe. And the petition had about 55,000 signatures, including some of the top leadership of the CCC. And I'll just read a little bit of what they said here. They said, the Platform for Concerned Citizens, the PCC, wishes to express its outrage at the continued denial of bail to Job Sikala, as well as the denial of bail to Godfrey Sitole and the Nyatsime group. They say also that unlawful arrests have become a standard tactic by the government in dealing with dissent, most particularly during elections, and the subsequent denial of bail, and even more egregious injustice. So, I mean, everyone is talking about the political violence, the denial of bail to the Nyatsime 17, the incarceration of political opposition members, including the Mtwakazi 9. Chief, I mean, do you just want to talk a little bit about the rise in political violence, especially as we face the elections in Zimbabwe?
Yeah. Sophie, I know people want to call it political violence. This is not violence. This is war. Zanu PF has declared war on the citizens. Zanu PF declared war in Mbulilima. Zanu PF declared war in Matebeleland in the just ended by-elections. Zanu PF declared war on the citizens in Gokwe. Zanu PF declared war on the citizens in Epworth. There's been something that we refer to as political violence everywhere, where there are by-elections, where people try to gather, where CCC try to gather, where President Chamisa try to gather. You can't call it political violence when someone is, attempting the life of President Chamisa, is attempting to assassinate someone, to take away someone, when live bullets are being fired, at some people. You can't call that violence. It's not violence. Is where people are throwing stones at each other. They're fighting using logs and whatnot. We saw guns being used in Matebeleland, where her Tofa, was injured. The way he was, her hands were almost broken. That's not violence. That's a war that has been declared on citizens. And sometimes when we say Zanu PF is a terrorist organization, people say we're going overboard. But this is what terrorism is about. It's domestic terrorism. If you are fighting against your people, if you are bringing out guns against unarmed citizens, if you are, attempting the life of a rival, a political rival, it has gone beyond violence. Zanu PF is a terrorist organization, and at one time, I know we started that petition where we are saying the United Nations should declare Zanu PF a terrorist organization. We should do that again, and we need numbers like the numbers that we saw with the petition from the concerned citizens. We're talking about violence. We need to do that again, and we have 100,000 citizens, 100,000 Zimbabweans signing that. And I'm telling you, once you have those numbers, once you have those signatures, you can push that petition to the United Nations. You can push it to the European Union. You can push it anyway, even to SADC, even to the AU, even those African leaders that are still remain supporting, the few that are still supporting Zanu PF, will see that these signatures are representative of a nation that is being terrorized by someone that they are supporting. So, we need to stand up against this terrorism, and we need to expose Zanu PF for what it is doing. Those people in England, in UK, in Australia, in America, forget about what Zanu PF says, that when you talk to the Americans, when you talk to the British people, you're selling out, you're being unpatriotic. Forget about that. Zanu PF people, they travel everywhere they want. They have meetings with the Americans, they have meetings with the British, they have meetings everywhere in the world. But if a CCC member is seen having a meeting with a white person, it's deemed unpatriotic. They're deemed to be inviting sanctions or something like that. That's not true. We should not even be listening to Zanu PF. We should continue to do what we have to do. Let's meet the Americans. There's nothing wrong about that. Let's meet the British. There's nothing wrong about that, because Zanu PF does that. As we are speaking right now, we have Zanu PF officials that are having meetings with the Americans. But they have the audacity to call to say to someone like Dara Blessed Mhlanga that he is in America observing elections. He's observing the elections that we are having right now. We are having midterm elections, and journalists across the world were invited. Every country has a journalist who is here in America observing those elections. But because Zanu PF has an agenda, and Zimbabweans, we swallow, the agenda of Zanu PF, the propaganda of Zanu PF, hook, line, and sinker. And some people even believe that Blessed Mhlanga, is selling out because he's in America. And we have statements that are being thrown everywhere that Blessed Mhlanga is in America to invite sanctions or to get money for regime change. He is here to observe elections, for God's sake. So it's the same thing. If you're in UK, you go to the Lord's house, you go anywhere, you speak to people there and tell them the truth of what is going on in Zimbabwe. The domestic terrorism that is going on in Zimbabwe. You are not selling out. You are doing the right thing. You are being patriotic, and you shouldn't be apologetic about that either.
But on that note, Chief, I know we were speaking earlier on this week about my experience at the hands of the embassy officials who are saying you're a terrorist, you're a sellout, you're an Uncle Tom, and you will be punished for speaking against the government. But as you rightfully point out, it's being patriotic. You're being a true Zimbabwean, and you're telling the true Zimbabwean story of what is going on in Zimbabwe. So I think it's time that we really stop being scared of being labeled as puppets of the West, and actually continue with the story and telling of the terrorism, the domestic terrorism that you rightfully say that is going on in Zimbabwe and beyond. So I agree with you totally, and encourage all Zimbabweans, wherever they may be in the world, Do not stop. Do not be intimidated or face fear or allow Zanu PF to bring fear into you that you are a puppet of the West or what you're doing is illegal or the patriotic bill or whatever it is. Let's just continue telling the truth of what is going on in Zimbabwe, and let us continue showing the truth of what is going on in Zimbabwe, and that is an illegitimate government that is terrorizing its unarmed citizens.
And Sophie, before you go on, I want to respond to Philip Svanda. But before I respond to Philip Svanda, I want you to just tell your story briefly, because you're being terrorized as well. You know, just tell the people what is going on. You know, this young lady, you know, is being threatened, you know, for the work that she's doing with Change Radio, for the work that she's doing in the struggle. You know, what has been going on? Now I'm now the interview. What has been going on? What are they doing to you?
It's a very emotional time for me, so you forgive me if I start tearing up. But it has been a very difficult past couple of weeks for my children and I, because we are in Sweden, and I have had calls and letters from the staff at the embassy here that are saying that I should stop interacting with foreign governments, and I should stop the work that I'm doing with Change Radio, and I should stop speaking negatively of the government of Zimbabwe. And what made me scared when I was speaking, and actually Chief Mabvuku was encouraging me and talking to me, is that they have set people to watch over us. You know, they would call, they send letters, and they say, we know what time you left the house, you have changed the curtains at your house, and they would tell me what I'm wearing on that day. So I was thinking that why would they waste resources by having someone watching me to tell me what I'm wearing on a particular day or what time I left my house to go to work? It just doesn't end there. You know, I'm getting calls in the middle of the night, and the numbers that are calling me are from the embassy in Stockholm, and on the Swedish the Stockholm Zimbabwe embassy website. And you know, it's been very, very difficult for me, but I am encouraged. Yes, I've cried, I've broken down, but I have stopped and I've said, no, I'm not going to allow this to intimidate me or to scare me, because I would have given them what they want and what they are looking for. I am a strong woman, and I have a support system, and I have a support team behind me and around me. And I'm not going to stop talking about what is going on in Zimbabwe, because it is also my country. And I also want the best for my country. I want the best for my children. And I want the best for those children in Mfakose, in Dangamvura, in Mucheke, in Popoma. The same things that I want for my children are the same thing that I'm fighting for those children in those townships all over Zimbabwe. And we cannot stop, and I refuse to be stopped and intimidated in this fight for a fair Zimbabwe for everyone, because a few individuals want to line their pockets, and a few individuals want to benefit from the natural resources, from the riches, from Zimbabwe that should be benefiting everyone. But I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been supporting myself. I know I'm not the only one. I know we're a lot of us who are targeted by the regime. And I just want to tell those people as well, the same people who are on the same boat as I am, let us be strong. Let us continue with this fight. They cannot and they will not, finish all of us. So let's just continue with the fight. And to those who are supporting me, I say thank you from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, Chief.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I just, bulldozed you into this. It wasn't part of the script, part of the program. But, we're talking about political violence. We're talking about what Zanu PF is doing to citizens. And it's not right. And we just have to stand up. I know, many people are being targeted, as Sophie has said. There are people that are not sleeping. There are people that are being terrorized. We'll talk about the young woman, the woman that was abducted in South Africa. We'll talk about that during this program. in which we should be doing, because we are running out of time, because there's another program that is coming on. But you know, Sophie, you know, just know that we are here. If you need anything, you know, we have been through this. I get those emails, I get those messages, but I know how it is to someone like you, someone young in the struggle like you. It's disturbing.
Thank you so much. But anyway, let's move along with the program, like what you're saying. But thank you so much for the support. And to all those Zimbabweans who have reached out, I'm really, really grateful. It means a lot to me and my family. Thank you very much. We move on with the sanctions, like you mentioned, that if we talk about anything, Zanu PF is so quick to sing the sanctions mantra. But a very simple explanation coming in from Hopewell Chingono, and explaining that, you know what, in the time of the government of national unity, where we had Honorable David Coulthard as the Minister of Education, you know, children had textbooks and they didn't have to share. They had their books that they could, you know, everyone had books. When President Nelson Chamisa was the minister in ICT, the price of a SIM card went down from $200 to as little as 50 cents almost overnight. When Honorable Tendai Biti was Minister of Finance, we saw the salaries, the civil servants being paid $540. You know, we saw a lot of these things, but there were still targeted sanctions at that same time. So, you know, Hopo Chingono just coming to open the eyes, like what we're saying, that mambo zvemataura kuti mbwanana hazvisunuri musi mumwe chete. And so we have like people like Hopo Chingono, we've got people like DJ Prof here, who maybe they see something, they realize the vision before some of us, and then they explain to all of us that, guys, look, this is what is going on. So this is what Hopo Chingono was doing by actually simplifying and illustrating that there were sanctions during the time of the GNU, but life was good for people. People were eating bread with margarine that they had not done in years, but there were still sanctions. And there are still those sanctions today. Maybe they have even been cut off. But life is worse now than it was during the time of the GNU. And yet during the time of the GNU, there were sanctions. I don't know, DJ Prof, do you just want to add in your 2 cents there? And welcome and just greet the viewers as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers and listeners watching Change Radio. Obviously, like DJ Sophia said, my name is DJ Prof. Maybe just to speak a little bit in terms of the sanction mantra that Zanu PF is saying every time when they need to use them. It's unfortunate that they always want to use the sanction mantra when it's always suited them and when it's needed for them to play or try to hoodwink people in Zimbabwe. And now actually the people of Zimbabwe now knows that even if you put on green sunglasses in order to view the world as green when it's brown, it doesn't change anything. The world will remain the same when you remove those glasses. That's exactly what people of Zimbabwe now know with regards to the issue of Zanu PF. It's true. Let's not talk only of GNU time. We can also talk of even the during Rhodes Smith regime time. The way sanction, actually those sanctions were actually serious because the way sanctions on a country, Rhodesia by that time. These sanctions that we are having in Zimbabwe now, they are only simply targeted sanctions that are targeting few individuals who are abusing or who are violating human rights in Zimbabwe. And everyone would want to ask, what is violating human rights? Violating human rights, one, is not allowing diaspora people to vote. Two, killing and brutalizing people, beating people on political ground, arresting people, creating stories, arresting people like what they are doing to Honorable Job Scala and Honorable Godfrey Stole and another Nyatsime 14. That's violating human rights. And what they were doing to the former Chiwenga, the vice president's wife, Mary Chiwenga, that's actually abusing human rights. So if there are terms and conditions on those, if they just stop that, and people who, if they just stop that human rights abuse, and then the sanction would definitely go. Sanction does not need any Shona or Ndebele or Swahili songs for them to go. They just need action from the people who are sanctioned not to travel to anything. So just lastly, to finish up in that, you saw the rally or whatever they call it when they were going against the sanction, the demonstration there in the American embassy in Zimbabwe. I was very happy to see some of the journalists interviewing people there. You see that people are just there, but they don't know why they are there. They were being interviewed about sanction and being asked what exactly the reason why they are there. None of the people that were interviewed there could answer why exactly they were at the American embassy. People were talking about the bond not working in Zimbabwe, so the US must be equal to bond. It was not, but actually those are the things that, you know, people are just being hoodwinked, and they are using people, forcing people to believe in whatever sanction mandate that they are talking about. But they are busy buying Ford Rangers in America, where they are saying America has given us sanctions. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, DJ Prof, for that insightful, comment, and very, very true. Zanu PF going out and buying, millions worth of twin cabs, and then you've got some people in Zanu PF saying that Zanu PF has rich uncles. Yet we all know that this money is coming from the government. I mean, Chief, what do you have to say about that? Obviously, we know the money is coming from Treasury. And how can a political party that is Zanu PF, that takes its money from the Treasury, then turn around and say that, no, this is money from the party?
Yes. I'm tired of this sanctions mantra, because we have talked about it, and Zanu PF keep peddling the propaganda that it's sanctions that has brought Zimbabwe to its knees. It's not sanctions. I'll keep saying that it's not sanctions. It's corruption. It's the massive looting that Zanu PF has been doing all this time. We are losing billions of dollars. We have lost $20 billion ever since Emmerson Mnangagwa. I mean, ever since, I think in the past 3-4 years, we've lost about $20 billion through corruption. And we are preparing a special program. Change Radio will be doing a special program there's an international day for corruption that is coming in December. And we are already preparing for that day, where we are going to talk about what corruption is done to the Zimbabwean economy, what corruption is done to the ordinary person in Zimbabwe, where we are going to, put forward the argument that it's corruption, it's looting, it's not sanctions that has brought Zimbabwe to where it is today. The sanctions that we have are targeted sanctions. These are individual sanctions that are targeted against Emmerson Mnangagwa. That Emmerson Mnangagwa, you cannot come to America unless you are coming to the United Nations. And even if when you come to the United Nations, you don't travel beyond New York, you travel in New York around this area. How does that make Zimbabwe impoverished? How does that affect the economy of Zimbabwe? Chiwenga, you cannot travel to the United Kingdom. You cannot travel to Sweden. You cannot travel to Europe. They are like travel embargoes. How do they affect our economy? Even now, if you have listened to President Chamisa, he has said, if there are any sanctions that are affecting Zimbabwe, they should be removed. But the sanctions that are there, that are just telling people that we don't want Emmerson Mnangagwa to travel to Switzerland, so that you can visit a bank or some of the banks where they are looting money and banking their money, in these international banks. And then the person is restricted to get there so that he can take, make use of the resources that he's looting from Zimbabwe. Those are not sanctions. We have people like Muchangwa, who were, they're on video. I wish one day we'll bring that video. He was saying sanctions cannot stop a country from functioning. If you can't manage this economy, you can't manage this country, you can't bring prosperity to this country because of these so-called sanctions. Give the country's reins to those people that can do it, that can manage this economy when the sanctions are there. Because it's on record that Smith was under sanctions, Rhodesia was under sanctions, but we still had the best roads, in Southern Africa. We had bridges being built. We had good education. We had, infrastructure being built. We didn't have potholes like we have right now in Harare or all over Zimbabwe. The sanctions were still there. We have, Iraq has sanctions. Most countries have sanctions, but they still prosper. They still go through them. So it's not sanctions in Zimbabwe. It is the corruption. Zanu PF is the one that just peddles the propaganda to unsuspecting people, to people that are out there that needs, education, that need, an alternative explanation so that they understand that it's not sanctions, but it's corruption, it's the looting. And that's what we're always saying. When President Chamisa comes in, he's going to stop the looting. He's going to stop the drain. He's going to stop the corruption. We know CCC is going to have zero tolerance to corruption. And, the country will prosper. There's no reason why we cannot have spaghetti roads. Those who say spaghetti roads are not a reality. Mantra is Zanu PF. The spaghetti roads are a reality. And I sincerely believe that we can have spaghetti roads within 3 years or even 2 years when President Chamisa is in power, because you just stop the looting, you just stop the drain, where the resources are going. That money is diverted to things that matter, is diverted to public infrastructure. We are losing billions. Do you know what you can do with $1 billion? With $1 billion? I know Opo Chungona has tried by all means to just break down things into perspective. He shows you that the $60 million that was stolen by the former Minister of Health could have built 3 hospitals and put medicine and even paid nurses and doctors for the next 2-3 years. That's how we need to understand this. When we hear that my Mufumira is stolen $91 million, we just see 91 and then it ends there. We don't go further and analyze how much $91 million could have done for Zimbabwe, how far it could have gone in making sure that we have infrastructure. $81 million can resuscitate all our hospitals. It can resuscitate all our schools, So it's not sanctions. Stop listening to that. If you are here, you're listening, start talking to your folks, start talking to your people in Zimbabwe, your relatives, your friends, your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather. Explain to them. Make use of social media. Make use of the community groups that you are in. Make use of the WhatsApp groups for the feminists that you are in. I do that. I explain to people. I hear even my own children, that are graduates, that graduated here in America. Sometimes they're tempted to believe that it's sanctions. It's not corruption. That's because Zanu PF is doing a good job, telling the people, giving propaganda, spreading its propaganda. And that's what we also need to do. Let's spread not propaganda. Propaganda is lies. Let's spread the truth. Let's tell the people that are in Zimbabwe, let's tell our friends, let's tell everyone who cares to listen the truth that this is what is happening. We lost $1 billion through mechanization, agricultural mechanization. We lost $3 billion through command agriculture. That money could have been put into good use and we wouldn't be where we are today as a country.
Absolutely. We need to continue telling the truth and continue educating the masses of the evils that Zanu PF is doing. And while we are there, we as Change Radio, we encourage all of you, keep on encouraging your families, your friends, your relatives to register to vote, to go and to vote, and to defend the vote. If you have no idea or if you want to find out how you can do that, but you don't know where, the numbers are being flighted there at the bottom. You can call for free. They can find out where you can go and register to vote and what you need to take when you go and register to vote and the places where you can go and register to vote. So the number there is 08080219, or you can dial star 265 hash if you're an Econet or Net One subscriber, and just follow the instructions. So remember, continue to encourage your relatives, your friends, your family to go and register to vote. Together, as President Chamisa was singing in the beginning of the program, the video that we show you, Masbambane, let us unite, let us come together to defeat this evil, to remove and to dislodge this evil, illegitimate regime of Zanu PF from power in 2023, in a few months' time in the elections. So, guys, register to vote, vote and defend the vote. Going on, I just want to talk about the youths, also talking about that there's an empowerment bank that was set up to help youths to, to give them projects and to give them a means of a livelihood. But the youths coming in and saying that, you know what, this empowerment bank that has been set up, it's only benefiting the Zanu PF youths. DJ Prof, coming from a youth side, can you give us a perspective of what is going on and what this means for the members of the youth that are not in Zanu PF and that are being left out from this empowerment bank?
Okay, thank you so much. So this empowerment bank, it's one of the Zanu PF way of trying to buy electorates, and one would have to ask him or herself a question to say, why now? 42 years down the line, why only now? Why only now that bank is being associated with the ED fair? Why only now that a bank is being associated with Zanu PF? Why only now that the bank is associated to from which raw area are you from? Are you from Harare? Are you from Lawai, or are you from Matepatepa, or are you from KwaGumbonzwanda? Why now? So just people need to know that Zanu PF is trying all sort of tricks that we have seen. Part of that bank is part of that apostle for ED, teachers for ED, Mawindi for ED, Mahure for ED. All those things are part of the things that are being happening now and going forward in terms of vote buying. And you can see even now they are starting giving our parents mbeu, farming inputs, fertilizer and stuff. But they don't come and tell us to say, no, guys, as we are speaking, we are preparing to import maize meal from Zambia because our command agriculture failed as it was commanded. It has failed to be commanded, and it has failed as a command system. And they are still commanding people to do a lot of things that actually its owners it's going to fail. So that bank that they are opening now, it's only that they are trying to buy votes. And as I've said earlier on, that I'm hearing that for you to be able to, that is if it's going, people are getting the money, and I'm thinking it's just a name. But if you are going to, you need to produce your Zanu PF card, and you need to have to make slogans before they make you to come into the bank. I have never ever, I've entered different banks in different countries. I've never ever heard that you have to put a slogan first before you enter into a bank. That is exactly what is happening with the Youth Development Bank. Why are we young people given a bank to develop ourselves? Why can't the government create jobs so that we can be able to develop ourselves? They know that once we are used to be given things for free, once we are used to be given things for free, that precedent will continue and will not want to work for ourselves. That's what they are trying to do as Zanu PF. And we are saying as young people, Manyangra ya wona, we know what you want to do.
Yeah, quite right. Vanyangira yaona, and we will not fall trap into that Zanu PF gimmick. But just before we go, we just have a few minutes. Mambo Sose, if you just want to talk to us about the impending visit, Cyril Ramaphosa's visit to the UK, and the House of Lords and the House of Commons in the United Kingdom, putting Zimbabwe on the agenda during Cyril Ramaphosa's visit to the United Kingdom.
I know, I know, Sophia, you are picking and choosing the topics to talk about because we don't have much time. We have another program that is coming on where we have interim leaders from South Africa that we're going to be talking about in our program, Padarina Mambo Sose. So, hold on to that. I mean, hang on around. Don't go away because we have something really nice that we're going to be talking about. But Sophie, can we talk about the warning that has been given by President Chamisa on infiltration? I know you had that on your topic, among your topics.
Definitely, yes.
If you want to read that again, and then we can finish with that, because I think it's really important that we talk about that.
Yes. So, yes, the president coming in and just warning, party members as well, just to be careful of infiltration, because these are one of the gimmicks that Zanu PF is using to destabilize the movement and to destabilize the fight for Zimbabwe, the struggle for Zimbabwe through the CCC. Speaking about it, and also coming back to the video where you were singing Masibambane, let us unite and let us not agree, or let us not let this little worm of infiltration find its way into destabilizing the struggle for Zimbabwe. I think maybe, Chief, you are best suited just to give us a few minutes of that before we call it a night.
Yes, you're calling it a night, we're calling it a day. But let me go to the comments first before I get into that, because I've been trying to find time to comment on what Philip Sibanda said. But we have Chango, we say, Chief Shosho, how are you watching from Cape Town? Cape Townians, don't go away, because we have a program for Southern Africa that will be coming. It's very important that you are part of that program. And then we have Chester Mahota and people watching Mazimba. So Atina Kubatana, Chose, Wellington, Amadu Ansakamunhu, aitotora vanhu wakatarisa Mazimba pakanyorwa zvimwe zvatisingakwanisi kuripita. You can say that again. And then we have a Facebook user, anakuisa zita rake, and encourage all citizens to mobilize each other, register to vote, do not be scared. Your vote is your voice. Stand for what is right for your future generation. I totally agree with you, Facebook user, whoever you are, but we appreciate what you're saying. We are not in Zimbabwe. I think this is not right. I think he was referring, or she was referring to what Sophia was recounting there. Aka, sorry, you for what you are going through. We are here for you and standing for the best for your future Zimbabwe. Hugs. You are a strong woman. Then Opo Chungono was very right. Zimbabwe needs CC in power. Zanu PF has failed. Yes, he is right. Opo Chungono is right. And the hugs, Sophie, thank you very much for standing. Thank you very much for standing for the change we want. Owen Kuda, Kwashe Dube, we are born free generations. We no longer supporting Zanu PF. If you are still running around with this evil, you are you are a row of tissues. Oh my God. Maiziwa, number one, CCC. But let me go to my brother here, Philip Spanda. I know we have had discussions with my brother, Philip Spanda. Philip is saying, if it was me, I would boycott the election. I would just boycott the election. He repeats again. And here on top, he had said, what is the point of going to the election when results are known? President Chamisa answered that question, Philip Spanda, in Bulawayo yesterday. You can inbox me. I know your number. I will send you the clip where President Chamisa was answering the very question that you just answered, that you just asked, that what's the point of voting? That's a Zanu PF propaganda, that is being peddled by Zanu PF. Vanhu veZanu PF havauyi vakanyora kuti Zanu PF, but vanhu vanenge vachiita kunge vaneta, vanhu vaya vanoita vaneta nekuramba vachienda kunovhota. Munhu iye vamwe haasati atombovhota, but those are the people that will be writing on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, saying what's the point of voting when we know the results? What's the point of voting when we know that the results are going to be rigged anyway in favor of Zanu PF? And then that brings voter apathy. That brings people not to go and register to vote or to go and turn up and vote. And President Chamisa was saying those people are actually taking your rights to determine the future of this country, but not the future of this country only, but your future. You need to go and cast your vote to decide who is going to be leading you, to decide the person you think is going to do better in leadership, who is going to make sure that you have a job, or your mother has food on the table, or you have a school, or your cousin, when he gets ill in Zimbabwe, he goes to a hospital where there are nurses, where there is medication. You need to cast your vote for that. If you don't cast your vote, you are literally voting for Zanu PF. That is what it means. Munhu wese asingaende kunovhota, ukaregedza kuenda kunonyoresa kuvhota, woregedza kuenda kunovhota kana wanga wakanyoresa kuvhota, watovhotera Zanu PF, because Zanu PF is the one that needs voter apathy. They actually encourage voter apathy. They don't even want people to go and register to vote. Zanu PF don't even want people to go and vote. That's why you have never seen them running around telling people to go and register to vote. They don't do that. Even ZEC, by its own admission on its website, it is supposed to be doing voter education from the day an election ends to the day another election comes in. But they never do voter education. And they do that deliberately to discourage people from going to vote. They are supposed to be telling you to go and register to vote. They don't do that. In fact, they actually limit the number of blitz, the number of voting places where you're supposed to go and register. They limit them. They make it difficult for people to travel to go and register to vote. Because when people turn out, vanhu vakaenda kunovhota vakawanda, Zanu PF haikwanisi kuriga. So turning out to go and vote en masse, turning out to go and vote in our millions is actually a way of making sure that we are not rigged. So if you are here, you listen to the Zanu PF mantra, or to those people on social media who come here and tell you that you should not go and register to vote, or you should not vote because it's useless, because Zanu PF has already won. That's a Zanu PF mantra. Vanhu veZanu vanenge vakatoplantwa ivavo kuti vatiudze kudaro. Saka vanhu handei tinoregister kuvhota. Iwewe uri panapa, taura nevanhu vari kuhwedza, taura nevanhu vari kumhondoro, taura nevanhu vari kumaruzevha, vari kumusha kwako, vari kutumira mari every day kuti ene munoregister kuvhota. Usatumire munhu mari yechikafu kana kuti yechikoro asina kuregister kuvhota. Everyone must go and register to vote.
Absolutely.
Philip,
Absolutely.
I hope you got me, my brother. I know, and I'm going to send you what President Chamisa said when he was addressing the interim leadership in Bulawayo. And then coming to the question you had asked, what was it about?
I'm just looking for his comment as well.
No. The question you asked yourself about what we are supposed to talk about now.
Okay. No, we were talking about, we've been talking about a lot of topics actually.
No. The one that we're supposed to talk about right now.
We were talking about infiltration, and then we were talking about, after that we spoke about the impending visit of Cyril Ramaphosa to the UK.
Oh yeah, no. You talked about. I said let's talk about what President Chamisa said when he was warning people of infiltration. That's real. I chose that over Nyaya Cyril Ramaphosa because we're about to finish. But what President Chamisa is warning us is very real. Zanu PF is putting out money right now. Even before President Chamisa had written about that. I talked about that in one of my programs. I think it was on Twitter Space because I had gotten that information from some people that Zanu PF is going to put money into opposition leaders, a number of them, including Anamonzora, including some of our own leaders in CCC. They are going to be approached with bags and bags of money. So that when they get the money, when Zanu PF says whatever they want to say, people will just jump on, what Zanu PF is trying to do is to make sure that CCC splits again before, not again, because we have never split. This is a new organization. They want CCC to split. That's why they've been, talking about Chamisa, job scala. They want some people to get angry with President Chamisa. And then some people will be saying, oh, Chamisa is the only leader. He's a dictator. He's in so and so. All those lies are coming from Zanu PF. We have a leadership. And there are so many things that are coming that I can't even talk about now, including, what people have been saying that we don't have structures. We cannot be talking about what we are planning or what we are doing. We are a new movement. We are a new organization. We cannot be coming on social media and talking about our plans. That's what Zanu PF want us to do, that we come here and tell them everything. No, we are going to keep you guessing. We are going to keep you guessing, Marakash. We are not going to tell you what we are doing. We're not going to tell you what we are planning. But the people that are in the movement, they know what is going on. They know their leadership. They know what will be happening in the next few weeks, in the next few months, leading to the elections. But it is true. There are people that are being offered money right now. I can even tell you something, breaking news that people have not heard about, and that may be happening in the next few weeks, that members of parliament will be given, offered $40,000 each, US dollars. All the members of parliament, 210 members of parliament, there's talk that they may be receiving $40,000 from Zanu PF, obviously, or from the government, so to speak. But we know why they're doing that. They're trying to get some of our people or some of our leaders. So be careful when you see it happening. Know that this is a Zanu PF strategy that is being implemented. Talk to the people. People must be aware. Money is being thrown in. Some people are being offered mining concessions. Some are being given contracts. And these are people that are in CCC. So some are going to accept that. I will not even mince my words. There are some people that are going to accept those deals. There are some people that are going to accept that money, like President Chamisa said, and we know about that. It's unfortunate. But if you are hearing, you are here, you are a leader, you are a member of parliament, I don't care who you are, we just say it as it is. If you are offered money by Zanu PF and then you accept it, you have fallen by the wayside. You have betrayed the revolution. You have betrayed the citizens. You have betrayed your own country.
Betrayal indeed. Betrayal indeed. Thank you so much for that, Mambo Sose. And just before we close, I think maybe it's proper at this juncture just for us to list the Nyatsime 17 by name, And just to let them know that we are thinking of them, we have not forgotten. The fight is continuing. And to them, we just want to say, you know what? The dawn, the darkness is darkest, the night is darkest just before the dawn. And the dawn is nearby. You guys are fighting a good fight for Zimbabwe. We have Honorables Job Sikala, Honorable Godfrey Sitole, Precious Jeche, Odias Makoma, Mishek Guja, Shepard Bulakazi, Tatenda Pindahama, Enoch Tsoka, Emmanuel Muradzikwa, Chawia Shopa, Rowan Tsoka, Zephania Chinembiri, Zex Makoni, Robert Madzokera, Clever Sivanda, Ifrej Gwavava, and Felix Biri. We salute you, our champions. We are standing with you. I know the president is standing with you. Do not listen to what other people are saying. The president, the national leadership, the whole of the CCC leadership, interim leadership is standing with you, and we are fighting for you to be out of jail. This is pretrial incarceration. It's very much illegal, and these are some of the tactics, the dirty tactics that Zanu PF are using to silence the voices of any opposition to it. But thank you so much, Zimbabwe, for being with us. It has been a wonderful program. Mambo Soshe, DJ Prof, our technical team behind the scenes, and from myself, Sophia Tekwani, it's been really wonderful hanging out with you. And just stay tuned, because soon after this, we've got Padare na Mambo Soshe coming up, and I know they have some really hot topics that you want to listen to and that you want to follow and that you want to comment on. So stay tuned to Change Radio. Don't go anywhere. There are more entertaining and informative programs coming up. And before I sign out, DJ Prof, Mambo Soshe, you want to say goodbye to our viewers?
Thank you. It was nice to have you viewers and listeners. Obviously, like you heard, that there is a program coming up. I think Mambo Soshe vari kutopfeka masocks, vari kujoga, vari behind the scene. Chakuda kupisa, chakuda kuchaya. So we'll be waiting, and we'll be waiting to hear. Hanzi vane mutakunanzva wavakatichengetera. So stay tuned. Musatiza, garai makatariza. Kune chirongwa. I'm happy kuti vari kutaura the people very close to Zimbabwe, the South African interim leadership. So I'll be eager to wait and hear what the program will be all about. Thank you so much, DJ Prof. Peace.
Wonderful. And before we sign out, CCC and the Tinoshika crew, Tinoshika Chete crew have a new album. And tichangokupa ikanzwisa chete pa album rawo iroro rine masongs anoti Voterai Chamisa, Dare, Kenan na Joshua, Tinotora Zimbabwe, and Jordan. And tichakusiyai muchiteerera kari kupisa kambo kanonzi Dare, from myself, Sophia Tekwani, and the rest of our news review crew. It's a very good night. Stay tuned on Change Radio.